So hello and welcome back to Fire Creates. My name is Kirsten and today I'm going to be talking about my experiences at the Woolly Good Gathering 2026. So if that sounds like fun, stick around and I'll show you what was there and what I got. So the Woolly Good Gathering for me this year actually started on the Thursday before the show even opened because I volunteered to help with setup. So there was a group of us who volunteered, basically signed up for it, and we were there to sort of help prep things like all the vendor lanyards, programs, getting the tables and stall spaces set out, and in cases helping stall holders bring things in and everything. I didn't do a lot of heavy lifting because I can't. And honestly, if I'd been crawling around the floor trying to measure stalls out, I would have probably curled up after about half an hour. So I was doing more of these sort of gentle tasks like lanyards and programs and stuff like that. But it was really, really nice. I got to see people I knew, got to meet some new people, had a nice chat with them. And it was quite nice because I got to wander around a little bit before the show had even opened and watch some of the vendors getting their stuff ready and got a little sneaky peek at quite a few products, which was really, really nice. So there was lots of really, really good vendors from all over the UK, Ireland, and possibly further afield, I'm not quite sure. But some of these are new to me, some are old favourites, and it was really, really fun just to get a good chance to have a look at all of their different products. So the event this time was held at the Edinburgh Academy, which is just off Stockbridge in Edinburgh. And rather than having just one or two central halls, there was bits and pieces going on all over. But it meant that everything could be centred around this sort of main campus. All the talks, all the classes, all the dining options and the social spaces. So in terms of food, there was a few different options. There were bao buns, noodles, gyoza, that kind of thing. And there was a coffee shop, there was a cake shop, and you could eat any of these in the main hall area, which was also where they were going to be doing the social event on the Friday evening. But if you weren't interested in those kind of foods, Stockbridge is incredibly close. There is a Sainsbury's there is an M&S, and there are lots and lots of really lovely little cafes and delis and nice restaurants just to sit and have a nice relaxed lunch if that was more your speed, or just grab something more of a snack. One of the really nice things with the school venue as well meant that there were water fountains where you could refill your own water bottles and everything, which I always think is a nice touch. So let's talk shopping. And first thing I did when I was going to shop was I knew that the pop-up vendors for the Friday morning were only there till 1 o'clock, and with the regular opening time opening at 11, I figured it was probably best to go straight there and see what there was, and if there was anything that I wanted from them, to pick it up pretty much immediately. And I did that. So first off, I went to Lorna Campbell Designs because I'd seen on like the little blurb that they had on the event website that she did self-striping yarns, and I've never actually got a hand-dyed self-striping before. I've used commercial ones, things like Zauberwool or West Yorkshire Spinners or Opal, and I've used those before, but I've never got a hand-dyed one. And I went with full intention of getting a hand-dyed striped yarn and came away with this absolutely gorgeous sock set instead. And this is a merino cashmere nylon, and it is so soft and it's so pretty, and yeah, I just really love the colours. So that kind of fell into my bag, and she very kindly gave me a very nice little lace sock pattern as well to go with it. So I might do that. I might use different yarn for this, but that was a really nice little touch. So after that, I had a little bit of a look around. I did have a look at a couple of the other stalls in there, and I didn't buy anything immediately, but I came back a bit later, literally just before they sort of shut down for the changeover, and I got this gorgeous little Project Keeper stitch marker from Songbead, sorry, and it's a really lovely like little ammonite shell, sort of spiral. It's very pretty. So yeah, so I got those. So those were from the pop-ups in the morning. I didn't get anything from the pop-ups in the afternoon, but I did find that one of them, whose name I have completely and utterly forgotten, but I'll put it on the screen, who does natural dyeing. They are hoping to start doing natural dyeing workshops up in Fife, which I think would be a lot of fun. So that would be cool. And then from there, where did I wander next? I went to... Well, actually, I just wandered around and had a look at everything. I didn't actually buy any other yarn sort of before lunch, but I did what I said I would do. I had a good look around. I went to some of the stalls that I knew, had a little look to see if there was anything interesting. I had hoped to have a look at the Little Grey Girl, their new yarn base, which was a type of blown alpaca, but they completely sold out of it by the time I got there, and that was sort of by 12 on the Friday, so I'm not sure if I just missed it or if they had sold out. So I had a good look around and I came up with what I was wanting, and what you will notice with what I got is I had a sort of theme in mind that I was sort of working with. So first up, Mammy and Florrie. Now obviously I knit the Pretty Privileged socks from Sock Madness this year in Mammy and Florrie Adventure Sock, which I absolutely love as a yarn base. It was a really nice yarn to work with, and the colours were amazing. What I will say is when I went to that stand, I picked up lots and lots of different yarn bases. I had a look at them, and every single time it was in the same colour palette as the one I knit the Pretty Privileged socks in. So I could safely say I really have a fixation with that particular colour, but I did get something different, and I got a merino single. Well, merino singles, it says, and this is 100% merino, and it's this really gorgeous sort of deep plummy red purpley kind of shade, and this is in the name colourway Kelvin Grove, which I used to live very near to when I lived in Glasgow. And I got another one of her yarns. This is the Kid Mohair Silk Lace Weight, which is a really fun variegated. It's got sort of almost browny tones. There's some pinks, and this is in the colour The Secret Poppy Field. And I finally figured out what's going on with her labels, because all of them have got these little 3-word codes, and I think they're using the 3-word sort of geolocation system, and I'm presuming that that gives you then the coordinates of what inspired these colourways. look at those together. So something I'd like to do, and something I've always really loved doing, is work with texture in shawl design and everything. So went for a slightly traditional combination here with the merino and the mohair. And then I went to a new to me dyer, which is Irish Artisan Yarn, and they had just the most gorgeous colorways. I was very taken with their sale bin, and I nearly bought more from there as well. But instead I got one of their 4-ply blends. This is baby alpaca and silk, and this is in the color bougainvillea, that one, which is sort of like a really nice soft grey with just hints of teal and pink in it. And then I also picked up in the same colourway one of their merino slub bases, which is this really gorgeous textured yarn, and this is merino and nylon. And so they're both in the same dye, sort of colourway, everything. But I love working with things in this kind of way because the texture adds so much to something. So that, very happy with. And then last but not least, another new to me dyer, which is the Kami. Now I had looked at their yarns last year but didn't get anything. And today I decided I really wanted something. And I'd seen some really gorgeous boucle at Mammy and Florrie, but they didn't have a solid that would work colour-wise with it, so I didn't get that there, and I got the mohair instead. But this is in the colourway Pleiades, and this is the, let me see, alpaca, silk and cashmere base. Gosh, I went for the luxury fibres today. And this is sort of like, it's a cream, but there's sort of tealy streaks in it, some yellowy orange, there's some slight blue speckling, there's a little bit of pink, but I got that because I saw this, and it's in the same colourway, it's Pleiades again, but you can actually sort of see all the colours in this one a little bit more clearly. And this is the, is it the super chunky? It's Highland wool and super fine alpaca, and it's a chunky bulky boucle, and it is so squishy. And they just had this massive rack of them all hanging up, and I couldn't resist. So yeah, so got quite a lot of yarn. I don't mind, but I think those are going to look really cool together. I'm thinking maybe a cowl or something for this one, just so I can play with texture again. So yeah, so that's kind of what I got. And what I will say is I think I had a sort of colour theme that I was working with when you look at all these together, because I've got that sort of dark pink, purple, teal thing running through all of these. I know what colours I like, basically, but I'm very happy with all of those. So yes, lots and lots of nice yarn, so very happy about that. Now, while I was at the show, I also got reunited with a couple of my samples, which are being released as designs in the Journal of Scottish Yarns. So I've got Forvie back, and this is a 4-ply shawl, and this is done in Ginger's hand dyed, and it's in the Splendor base at this end in the 4-ply, and in the Masha Mayhem at this side, and they're both in the colourway Selkie. So you can kind of see how different the yarn takes up the dye, but it's a really fun sort of textured and totally pattern, which I really like. This I need to format and release as an individual pattern because the rights have come back to me. And I was also reunited with my little friend, and this is Harris, and he's a little Highland Cow, and he was also with that same Journal of Scottish Yarns, and so he's come back to live with me now, and he's very sweet. So he's done in Jameson and Smith 2-ply jumper weight. But yeah, so I was carrying him around with me. He was sticking out my bag and he was saying hello to people, as you do. So it was a bit hard to know what the weather was going to do, given that this month we've had pretty much every single type of weather you could want. I mean, on Easter Sunday we had snow, we had rain, we had hail, there was sleet, it was windy, it was sunny, it rained, and there was a clap of thunder, and that was by 1 o'clock. So trying to judge weather at the moment is a bit ridiculous. But it was actually quite a nice day on the Friday, and I took a shawl with me, and this is Spectrolith, and it was much admired at the show, and I'm very happy with it. And this is done in yarns by the Knitting Goddess, and the grey background one is one of her mashing bases, and then the rainbow is one of her mini skein sets in a rainbow. And I just love this thing, and it's big and it's squishy and so cozy. Yeah, one of the things I really love is that I actually did the bind off in all the different colours, so it actually changes colour very slowly as you go along the edge, which is a very silly extra touch, but I love the detail it adds. So yeah, so that was my day. I had a great time. I didn't see too many people I knew. I think a lot of people were probably going on the Saturday, just people working on a weekday, but it was really nice. It never felt too overcrowded. So to sum up the show, location-wise, really good for getting to. I mean, for me, it was literally walk out my door, get on a bus and get dropped off directly outside the venue, so I couldn't ask for any better. Some of the classrooms could get a little bit jammed, just people trying to get in. But that's kind of the same at any yarn show. That was sort of in the morning, and when I went along later on in the afternoon, it was absolutely fine. So unless there was something you really wanted to get that might have been sold out first thing, I don't think there was any problem about getting 2 stalls. The whole space was really nice. I quite like having it spread out over a space rather than just having 2 or 3 big halls with it all jammed in. And there was always somewhere to sit. I mean, obviously they had the main room, which had music on during the day. There was a harp playing when I was having my lunch. So that was really cool. They had a quiet space in the library where I may have had a nap. But yeah, they're hoping to stay at that venue now, I think, because obviously the first year they were at Summer Hall. Last year they were at Central Hall, I think. In terms of convenience for Stockbridge, really easy just to walk a few minutes down the road. I popped into the pub afterwards while I was waiting for a bus to go home, and there were some really confused staff who were going, why is everyone knitting? Because they didn't know the event was on. But yeah, so really good event. Looking forward to next year already. And yeah, so thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. And if you were at the Woolly Good Gathering, what did you get this year? So yeah, if you liked the video, like and subscribe, and I will catch you next time. Bye!